Back at Bailey, we're cruising over here. I feel like I always say that. I always reference how fast we're going, but last week was a lot of like meticulous stuff, but this week, all of the meticulous stuff that was done last week, we're starting to hit pay dirt, as the gold miners say on Gold Rush. I love that show.
2 layers of gold-rich pay dirt.
Joe Teresi was out here last week getting the walls and everything prepped for drywall. Then we had the electricians out here making sure everything was good to go so that we can move forward. Because right now what we're doing is tile. This entire basement besides the cinema is getting heated tile floors. So these guys will be here until the end of time, making sure that everything is perfect. But it is a quite tedious floor to install, not only because it's roughly 800 square feet of tile, give or take, but it's also like really long and skinny pieces that resemble wood. So making sure that everything visually looks good, as well as everything's laying flat, is a really big importance. When things are done right, it looks amazing, but also with such a large area, if the tile's not done right, you're gonna very easily see it. And everything else in this basement is top notch, so we didn't spare anything on the floor as well. So Tile Studio is here today with the A-team moving forward into the floor. They've been working on actually laying the floor. They started yesterday morning. They, got a lot of like the figuring out part of it done, and now they're in a larger area as well as a closet moving on forward. Once you get into a good rhythm and everything like that, the tile goes down pretty quickly, but it's really the setup that takes a long time on this. So got a lot of area to tile. Cabinets and vanities and things like that are all just waiting to get delivered. So once this tile goes down, we'll have the cabinet company come out, put the vanities and the custom built-ins in and everything like that. And then we're going to move into trim scope and then final paint, and then the movie theater's going in. So in this room, the walls are black. This is the cinema. The room will ultimately be painted this color, and then the sound panels will be installed over top of this. So all of the trim, the carpet, the furniture, the sound panels, everything in here is going to be black, because when you're watching a movie, you want it, as dark as possible, so the lights coming off the projector or the screen or whatever is the only thing you see. We used a space-age polymer in here that actually reflects sound. No, I'm just kidding. It's complete bullshit. Complete bullshit. I couldn't do that to you guys. The walls are just primered right now, but the painter gets the primer tinted with the space-age polymer. Go in there and ask them for it. Dude, sidebar, salespeople are the worst, right? You go in there and they're like, what can I help you with? I'm like, I'm here for paint, obviously. And they're like, they start talking to like, what job are you working on? I'm like, why don't you just get the paint, dude? Stop talking to me. Every single person in there, right? Ask Joe, ask any of the painters, dude. People, dial it back. Stop calling me. I don't buy paint. The painters buy the paint. Stop asking what job I'm on. You don't know what job I'm on. Anyway, we get the primer tinted. It makes it way easier to go through when you actually, like if you were to primer these walls white and then you were to paint them black, it's a lot of work. It makes no sense. So what you do is, if you're doing a color or you know what color you're painting your walls, you primer tint, paint the walls with the primer, and then when you go to actually roll the paint, it comes out way nicer. You get a way deeper color and it's way easier to roll on. You still want to do the same amount of coats, obviously, because of high fashion. We've already been over that. Do the right job. Don't tint the primer and then only one coat the customer's walls. You are rude. Don't do that. I'm giving you this tip so your walls look better, not so the job's faster. Or, I mean, it probably is faster. Not so you can cheap out. So Joe will be back to paint and finish, everything in here before the sound panels go on. We have to put the trim in. On the floor, we have 2 layers of sound dampening and then just the carpet, which is dampening sound. So you could argue 3 layers. And then that will get put in once these guys are done tiling. We have these huge rubber rolls that we got to figure out how to get down here. That'll be a struggle. Get those down here laid out, glue them down, underlayment, carpet, things will pop. Once this room is done, then the sound panels and the technology will go in. So those guys are all waiting on us right now. So I think I talked about it, I probably most definitely talked about it in previous videos, how we were using Quiet Rock drywall products, our gypsum board product, on the entire basement cinema area, specifically to just help with the sound conditioning. But if you actually look in here where the drywall is cut for the speakers, you can actually kind of see, if I can try, like see how I'm separating the pieces of drywall like that? And like I can kind of like, I can probably just take this like drill bit and kind of just wedge it in there. See how that goes in there? That is like this, the Quiet Rock has that space in there throughout the entire wall. So there's 2 layers of drywall glued together, or some of the Quiet Rock products have different materials in between the gypsum product, I'm pretty sure. And what that does is more uncoupling or decouple from the wall, like more sound reverberation. I guess the ultimate expectation is that it gets kind of trapped in there and doesn't vibrate more of the rigid structure like the walls and everything like that. So it's kind of wild to see when the product's going in. You can't see it on the factory edges until you cut the drywall itself or the Quiet Rock itself. You can actually make out the gap there. So a little like there's actually Quiet Rock down here, and that's like, so if you tell your customer that you put Quiet Rock in their basement and then they go and see this and then they watch this video, it's oopsies.